So today on the press segment, we're going to be having just the headlines, like I promised earlier. And on Vanguard this morning, we have NASS principal officers Adamu runs into stormy waters. We have sit at home, panic as gunmen attack resident traders in southeast. We have asset declaration. CCB should verify Governor Lawal's claim. CSOS. And on the Delhi Independent newspaper this morning, our major headline is downturn shrinks aviation as carriers air traffic declines. We didn't need parties' input for our nomination. Commotion as Senate over disbursement of 500 billion loan to SMEs. Rivers APC to Wike, you can't take our ministerial slot. Tinubu gives nod for 5 billion naira UTM floating LPG project. On the Nigerian News Direct, our major headline is gas supply. Tinubu endorses $5 billion LNG floating project. Telecoms investment in Nigeria rise to $75.6 billion, NCC EVC declares. Tinubu APC closes defense in Obi. Articles petition challenging electoral victory. FCCPC threatens to sanction airing POS operators over high charges. Federal government targets 553 billion naira from petroleum unremitted shipping taxes. Alleged fake results. Mesoma admits to forging UTME scores. And that's it for the Nigerian Direct. And on this day newspaper this morning, we have PDP leadership in disarray, fails to secure minority offices in National Assembly. After Buhari, Tinubu wades into NUPRC, NMDPRA, altercations over overlapping functions. Cracks widen in APC over NWC. And that's it for this day newspaper. On the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have NASS principal officers, APC NWC members fault Adamu. Tinubu backs $5 billion floating LNG project implementation. 11 Ibadan High Chiefs to be crowned Oba tomorrow. Telecoms investment in Nigeria now $76.6 billion, Danbata declares. Traders passerby scampers for safety as gunmen attack Enugu market. Presidential election. Tinubu Shetima tenders Anambra LP members membership register, 17 other documents. And that will be that for Nigerian Tribune. And for the Leadership newspaper this morning, we have Adamu runs to Villa as NWC member alleged disloyalty. Tribunal APC closes case, says no need flogging a dead horse. Telecom investment in Nigeria hits $75.6 billion. And that will be that for the Leadership newspaper. And for the Nation newspaper this morning, we have discuss intensify efforts for electricity tariffs hike approval. Senate minority leader will be build very opposition. Jump results roll. Why Mesoma was bad. 6 profs to results forgery. I got an SMS that I scored 249 in jump. Reps stay action until props end. Okay, that will be that for the press this morning. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying with us. We'll be right back after the break to continue with the rest of the program. Thank you.
This is where we all belong. The place where life is beautiful. The peaceful ambience we enjoy when we live together in unity and love. It's all we go stand together, we go make them better. We be brothers and sisters, no matter where we be. It's all about you know. Let's live together in peace and harmony.
Morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be alive today on a Thursday morning to inspire you again. Today I'll be speaking briefly on what I tagged the dynamics of knowledge. The dynamics of knowledge. To refresh your mind, I like saying that irrespective of what we know, there are still mountains of knowledge to climb. The world as dynamic as us requires adaptability by those who wish to be relevant, and the prerequisite for this adaptability is having an informed mind, which is the highest currency of a civilized society. Knowledge has divided our society as such. Anybody who refuses to be updated will soon be unfit for this civilized society. There are two kinds of students in every school: those who settle for classroom knowledge and those who presses towards personal development. Those who settle for classroom knowledge are sure to earn as historian, while those who presses towards personal development are sure to earn as history maker. There are two kinds of persons that can never be informed: the dead and the foolish. The dead cannot be informed because they are dead, and the foolish does not want to be informed. There are two set of persons you will never meet: an all-knowing man and a self-made man. These two you will never find, for nobody has the monopoly of knowledge, and no man is the headquarters of knowledge. There are two set of persons that can't go far in life: those who take everybody's advice and those who take nobody's advice. In the school of knowledge, these two students cannot be admitted: the proud and the arrogant. For the greatest undoing of anybody is to assume to know it all. There are two investments that yield the best returns. I said kneeling to pray and sitting to read. Those who kneel to pray will rise against every challenge of life, while those who sit to read will rise to impact their world. Now, for us to advance, talking about knowledge, one of the ways we can get to knowledge is through reading. I define reading to mean an act of knowledge accumulation using the mind. We interact with books using our mind. Reading makes one fool, but absence of it makes a fool out of someone. You wish to have a full knowledge of any area, you read more in that area. Reading makes one current, and only current people can accumulate the currency of life. I arrange it this way, that weapons make us fit for war, but knowledge makes us due for triumph. The wind delivers by labor, the mind delivers by study and reading. Exercise can only shape your body, but learning and reading will shape your life. When you eat so much, you enrich your toilet, but when you read so much, you enrich your future. What you know is better than who you know. In quote, who you know may disappoint you at any time, but what you know rarely disappoint. Every door respects a key, and every issue of life is answerable to knowledge. God gave us our head so that we should allow him to rest. There are so many human problems that doesn't require prayer and fasting. You ask God for harvest, he will give to you a seed. You ask him for wealth, he will give to you an idea. You ask him for knowledge, he will point to you your mind. What you do with that mind determines if the world would mind you. If you ever wish to be known, then you need to be knowledgeable. If you ever wish to be acknowledged, then you need to add to your knowledge. Living without reading is dying without knowing. If you stop reading at 20, then you are old. But if you keep reading at 80, you remain so young. Success in life has nothing to do with a paper degree, but is determined by a degree of knowledge. For there are so many with degrees that end as a disgrace because they have refused to develop themselves. Let me remind you that we have two kinds of graduates. We have the parasite and we have the catalyst. We only have classmates in school. After school, everybody begin to find their class. Therefore, get into the business of real life transforming books. Get to know more. Yes, in that area of maybe your relationship, you have to read relationship books. If you want to advance your relationship in your business, for you to advance your business, you need to look for books on business and digest them. Get to know more, get to expand, get to advance, get to develop yourself. And like I said, that irrespective of what you know, there are still mountains of knowledge to climb. And that's the size of that which I have for you this morning. I just came to tell you that you can advance, but you need to increase your knowledge base. You need to expand your knowledge base, expand your capacity so you can fit in. And I started by saying that the world as dynamic as us requires adaptability, and for you to be adaptable in this world, then you just have to be informed by having profitable information, and that can be gotten majorly on the pages of books. And I can always say that yes, if you cannot afford the airport, please ensure that you start with the bookshop. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
Happy Apple with good laws,
Proper funding,
Training.
and cooperation. If it happen,
If it happens.
If it happens.
This is all where we all belong. The place where life is beautiful. The peaceful ambience we enjoy when we live together in unity and love. It's only mine, you know. We go stand together, we go make them better. We be brothers and sisters, no matter where we be. It's only mine, you know. No matter where we be, we are one.
I just want your papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, so. And Monday never even reach chef. Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect roja from my hand. Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
Happen. With good laws,
proper funding, training,
and cooperation.
If it happen.
Good morning. It is very, very good to have you join us on this program today. This is a special segment, and this is the second outing of the 3 weeks media campaign of Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation, AKBC, on the World Public Relations Day, which will be observed globally on Sunday, 16th July 2023, with the theme Harnessing the Power of Public Relations. My name is Mercy David. Today, we have a guest to interact with. Our guest is the Zonal Coordinator, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Akwa Ibom and Cross River Zonal Operations, with a demonstrated history in the public relations and communications industry, both in the private and public sectors. Our guest is a proficient person in crisis communication, event management. No, I want to say crisis management and then communications and event management. In brand journalism, he is a pro media relations and corporate communications. He is there. He's an active member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, who incidentally oversees the Studies Center of the Institute. This committed professional in public relations is none other than Dr. Udwa Obot, MNIPR. It's good to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, sir. The World Public Relations Day will be observed on Sunday, July 16, 2023, and we've been talking about it all around. Our question to you today is, what does the World Public Relations Day mean to the professionals?
Thank you for having me. Good morning. World Public Relations Day is a day that public relations professionals all over the world will come together to crossbreed ideas, foster collaborations, and exchange ideas and experiences, and begin to plan how to take the profession to the next level. This event is coming up on the 16th day of July 2023. This year's theme, like you have rightly enunciated, is harnessing the power of public relations. The event is going to, ask PR professionals all over the world to put their thinking cap and see how this profession could be taken to the next level by bringing the potentials of public relations to the fore. The inherent capacities and capabilities of this profession. We need to go back to the drawing board and then begin to look at the strength of this profession and look at the beautiful side of this profession and see what we can use to move organizations, move brands to the next level. Governments, as well as individuals who would want to take on the public relations consultants and acceptability.
Okay, you've said that PR professionals are going to put their heads together to see how they move organizations forward. So what's really the role of public relations in a corporate organization?
The role of a public relations in a corporate organization is not, when we say corporate organization, public relations is needed everywhere. Not only in the corporate organization. Public relations is required at home, even required in the marketplace. Public relations is required in every facet, governments, and what have you. If you take our public relations out of what we do, the world will stand still, and then there will not be a better place for people. But everyone practices public relations in one way or the other, knowingly or unknowingly. The relationship you have with your husband, with your wife, with your children at home, that means there's some quantum of public relation, practice in what you do. That is why you have peace at home. Okay, and if you don't have peace at home, it means there's the relationship at home, there's something that you're not doing right. So for corporate organizations, it's all about image. If you want to do well in public relations, we talk about image and reputation. What is an image? Image is what the public, the people, see an organization, an individual, even a government, in their mind eyes. What is their perception of an individual, a product, an organization, even a government, in the minds of the people? And why reputation is, in public relations, that could be said to be where you, as an individual, organization, government, is placed in the continuum of quality, performance, excellence, and integrity. How long have you been able to do this as you live? What is your integrity quotient? What is your quality quotient? What can somebody say about you as an individual? What can somebody say about this product? What can somebody say about the organization? All this amounts to what we call reputation in public relations. So you discover that even as an individual, we talk about brand management. Everybody is a brand. We talk about brand, we're not just referring to only product. Brand could be an individual, brand could be an organization, brand could be a government, brand could be a product. Imagine the brand. You begin to look at what level of image has the brand, what level of reputation has the brand, and then before you begin to put up your plans of image management. So in public relations, we believe if you do what is not right, you should be able to own up and then tell the people the truth, the facts, and then begin to appeal to the public, your publics, about if you do good, if you do well, of course, you also tell the publics that you have how you sustain it, how you want to sustain what you're doing, if it's a product, how do you want to sustain the quality that you are currently having. So, and you must try to avoid multiple image. Okay, we have different types of image. We can talk about mirror image, we can talk about wish image, we talk about good and sound image, which is what we advise in public relations for any organization, an individual, or a government to have. You must strive in all your doings and whatever you do to achieve and attain good and sound image.
Okay, sir, you've talked much about sound image, and that should matter to you because of the reputation you want to showcase to your different publics. And now let's come to the fact that you're a zonal director of Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. You oversee the Akwa Ibom and Cross River States operations, and at the same time you're a PR expert. I would like to know, what are some of the activities of your organization that showcase the essence of public relations?
We are doing so much in the media space. In an organization like ours, we say we silently do what we know how to do best. But at the point you need to let the war, know what you're doing. Because if you don't blow your trumpet, nobody will blow for you. We are doing so much in the industry, and then we need the people to know, our publics to know what we're doing, our stakeholders to know what we're doing. So we try as much as possible to also manage our own image and reputation as an organization by projecting those values, the culture of our organization, and the standard and the mandate of the organization, and then begin to do those things that we are mandated to do. So we bring these in the public space through media relations and quality public relations, exposure in the media, traditional media, and also in the social media. We are not there yet, but we are still working for improvement.
Okay, I know that your establishment handles some projects for communities. In the face of hostility from your public, how can you display public relations professionalism without compromising standard? Or apart from your own organization, how can one, respond to hostility from one's public without actually compromising standard of PR professionalism?
Well, hostility. Jeff King, the father of one of the public relations scholars, talked about hostility, talked about apathy, talked about prejudices and ignorance. In all what we do, we are trying to transfer those negative conditions to positive conditions. We're trying to talk to people to have a good perception of a product, an individual, or an organization. We want people to change in the attitudinal, behavioral, outputs, to the society, towards you as an individual, or towards the organization or a product. You want the community that you're working with to begin to see you in good light as a good corporate citizen that is operating within their environment. So in all that you do, you need to take away the negative conditions, to the positive. You want to transform or transfer hostility. Yes, referring to hostility comes generally when you are not doing what is expected of you and what you know you are supposed to do within the space that you are operating. Okay, if you operate in a community, for instance, you are doing production and then you are emitting certain things to the air, and then you are polluting the environment, you are polluting the waters, and you're not doing anything about it. All you know is to come in there, exploit the environment, the natural resources in the environment, and then do what you're doing. If you do not manage the community well, sooner than later, there's going to be a breed of hostility against you by your host communities, because you are not doing what is expected of you, and you are trying to exploit the people. You don't want to give back to the people. By so doing, probably you need to put up some CSR, corporate social responsibility. And we in public relations, we're not just talking about CSR. We are saying corporate social responsibility and sustainability. You don't just go to a community and give to a community. Oh, they need water. Okay, they don't have water, so let's drill borehole as an organization, as an individual. We want to, like I said, an individual could be a band. And then you give to the people borehole. And then you never went back to see how 1 year after, 2 years after, you don't even think of how the petrol or the fuel in that generator that you use in commissioning, once it's over, who's going to replace it? Who's going to fund the maintenance of the generator that will hold the water? Who is going to fund the maintenance of the equipment that, and if you need to provide security, who's going to? So people just concern themselves, CSR, corporate social responsibility, so that we take hostility away from us. Okay, let's give to the people what they want, not what they need. Now you abandon those corporate social responsibility projects. You dump it on the people. You don't care how to sustain. I want to tell you, if you maintain this, if your organization and you are running this system, this pattern, this methodology, sooner than later, the same community will come back and build hostility against you. So how do you get hostility off your head from your host community? You embark on robust public relations communication. In fact, indeed, anything about public relations is all the efforts we're talking about is communication efforts. Okay, it's communication efforts. That is public relations. You are communicating to the people. You are talking to the people, trying to see how you can change the attitude towards you, trying to see how you can place yourself and have a good image in the minds of the people. So, if you do this, all things being equal, you replace hostility, okay, with sympathy. The community will have sympathy for you, all things being equal. And then if you also, through your robust public relation engagements with your host community, you will also change apathy, to interest. The community may also develop apathy against you, but you begin, because of what you do as a public relation oriented organization who believes that the people is center, to what we do. If you run that kind of organization, so you definitely would want to change people's apathy against you, let them have interest in what you do. Like Jeffkins says, the prejudices that they are also going to develop against you, you change it to acceptance. And then the ignorance that they have against you, you change it, you give them information and knowledge, full knowledge of what you are doing, full disclosure of what we are doing, because public relations talks about timely information and full disclosure. In public relations we say the truth all the time, but do not say all the truth all the time. This is wisdom in the practice. The wisdom in the practice. Like you say all the truth. In public relations you don't need to lie. Come to the people, avail them with information, let it be timely, and then, but some of the truth, keep it in the cooler. At the right time, you pull it out, because there's some truth that you pull out, and then it would even raise hostility and apathy and prejudices against you at that time. So these are all what the profession teaches, and That's why you need to have a robust public relations department in your organization, to have qualified public relations practitioners to be there, not media relations. So.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. So you have said that efforts are really, really needed, especially communication efforts, in order to win one's public's heart and then get endeared to them. And you've equally mentioned that qualified persons are the ones to take care of this aspect. So I have really seen that it's not a dance for the infirm feet. My question now is, how does one who is interested in public relations qualify to be a professional?
You see, basically, you see the definition of public relations in the first place. Public relations is defined by what we call the Mexican Statement that was agreed and signed in 1978 in Mexico. There are different definitions of public relations. You, as you are seated, you can define public relations as to how you understand and how you do your own public relations practice. So we have had, different definitions, so many. But the Mexican Statement says that the public relations is the art and science of monitoring and predicting trends, predicting consequences, and counseling organizational leaders, and implementing planned program of actions that will serve the interests of the organization and then the publics. That definition is all encompassing, and that is why it's accepted to be the definition that professionals will have to. If you want to dissect that definition, maybe you need to stay a little bit in answering your question. It says the art and science. That makes a professional, a public relations professional, an artist. The artist in him allows him to design solutions, different solutions for different problems. Okay? He does not believe in that straitjacketed, method of doing things. Unprofitable routines. So he's contingent upon whatever his solution is contingent upon the problem that he's facing. So by this is an artist. The problem comes at point B, he designed the B solution. Another one will come out, then he designed that. So that makes him an artist. And then the scientist in him allows him to dwell, use empirical and verifiable methods in doing his job to achieve his set objectives. And that means he has to do some planning. He has to do some research. Okay? He has to form a problem statement. He has to look for how to get his objectives and the way he has to plan his public relations programs, which is purely communication. You are not engaging anybody for a fight. So in all that you do, it is purely communication. And then if you go back to what is a plan, that definition, if you go back to that definition, say implementing planned programs, it means you cannot do anything in this profession haphazardly. You have to plan. They say he that fails to plan plans to fail. In public relations, we said it starts with research and ends with research. Start with planning and ends with planning. Okay? Whatever you do in all your public relations planning programs, whatever you do, start with research, ends with research. If you have a problem in your hand, a crisis in your hand, you need to ask questions. Okay? How did it come about? Okay, what was the situation before now? So what were the causes? So where are we now? So where do we want to be? So by answering these questions, forming your statement of problem, you will be able to get to the answer of solving those problems and making sure that you change attitude, you change behaviors, change perceptions towards you, organizations, or an individual.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. That's elaborate. Dear viewer, you're still watching Focus. This is a very special segment, the Public Relations Festival. And the Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation is having a 3-week media campaign on the World Public Relations Day, which will actually be observed on Sunday, July 16, 2023. And today is our second outing. We are still talking with the Zonal Director, or Zonal Coordinator, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, who is a PR professional. He is equally the Coordinator, Youth Study Center of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR. Right now he's talked about how one can qualify to be a public relations professional. And now Nigerian Institute of Public Relations actually accepts people to become their members so that they'll be able to practice public relations professionally. And I am asking him, what remedy is there for a person who is interested in becoming an NIPR member but lacks the basic qualifications that are actually meant to qualify such a person?
At the beginning, we said that public relations is a profession that is needed everywhere where human being exists. Therefore means it is a profession everyone would like to have, even if you are not a professional, but have a bit of knowledge about. I said from home to office, organization, product, you need public relations. Becoming a public relation practitioner, the Institute have come up with programs, academic programs, and professional programs that will certify one to becoming a public relation professional in Nigeria. Indeed, you have to go through the programs of the Institute. They have the certificate program, they have the diploma program, they have the professional development program. The diploma and the certificate program, we have the academic side of it. If you have an IPR diploma, with the status of what we have now, the Institute has raised it, and the Federal Ministry of Labor and Productivity has accepted it to be at par with the first degree, in commerce and industry. At this level, the Institute is also working towards mobilizing holders of the Institute diploma to do the NYSC, and also you can use the Institute diploma to acquire other degrees, could be your master's, could be your PhD, and what have you. So that is core. We have different stages of that, and then we have a program that you want to develop yourself as a professional. That is less laborious, that cannot be compared to that of the academic, that one is impossible. If you want to pursue further academic, attainment, you have to do that. And then for the professional, the courses are less. The courses are less in number, and the duration is also shorter than that of. So, but if you put in a year, and if you're a good student, you pass through part 1, you go to part 2. You know, so if you put in like 2 years, you should be able to do part 1, part 2, level 1, part 1, part 2, level 2. Then you come over to the diploma and do part 1, part 2, and then you go to part 1, part 2. That will qualify you to be a professional public relation practitioner. And again, on the professional side, there are courses the institute had put through on its curriculum that would see you through a period of time that will certify you qualified public relation professional. So the information is also available at the institute. We have the chapter here in view, the requirements chapter. We have the image house that is located at Image Drive of Information Drive by Pioneer Newspaper or IBB Way. So more information is available at the institute. People could go there, and then we will come back in due course when the programs, you know, would commence about October. Okay. Come back and then sensitize the people more on the program. But today was for the World PR Day. Yeah. So that is it for that. And then I want to also encourage Akwa Ibomite and the young ones, even the ones already on the job, to come and be qualified and be certified.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been interesting talking with you. We would like to let you be shortly. So on a final note, what's your message for the PR professionals who are engaging in different activities to actually observe the World PR Day on July 16? What's the message for them all as professionals?
The message is up your games, and then up your games in the profession. If you want